I said, that's nonsense.
Those cars would stink for months.
Drinking tequila, indeed. The mariachi.
It started with an intrinsic motivation.
They said, what? A leasing company starting an insurance company?
These days, LeasePlan is active in 28 countries spread around the globe. Which ones?
We can name them all.
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
The Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg, France, Spain, Portugal, Ireland, Finland, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Turkey,
Poland, Greece, India,
Mexico,
Emirates, Brazil.
Yeah. Who else do we have?
I think
Slovakia,
Slovakia,
Czech Republic.
Romania.
Yeah.
Romania.
Impressive. Almost. Of course, this didn't happen overnight, but is the result of decades of strategic planning, hard work, and commitment.
When I was 3 weeks behind my desk in Holland, I thought, well, it's about time to make a little trip for 2 or 3 days to another country. Well, it was, of course, always a business trip, yes, but I enjoyed it very much, yes.
This episode, we will take you on LeasePlan's journey around the world. LeasePlan started out in just one country, the Netherlands. Do you know where we went next?
Belgium? No, but I would guess Belgium.
Yeah, Belgium makes sense.
That's right. LeasePlan expanded to Belgium in 1972, and 3 more countries followed that decade.
It took 2 or 3 years to build an organization in another country.
Following our success in Europe, we soon expanded overseas.
We also got contacts with a British company that had an office in Atlanta in USA. After some study, we decided to buy that company and to form it over to LeasePlan USA. In the meantime, Anton had another idea. He wanted to go to Australia. And I said, that's nonsense. What do we want to in Australia? Yeah, that was a very interesting company.
Let's ask someone who knows all about setting up a new LeasePlan office.
I started working in November '98. I had my first part of my career in corporation. I've started up 3 countries for LeasePlan in Mexico, Romania, and in Russia.
So, how does this work?
One of the main reasons why we're going to a specific market is because there's a big potential from international customers. So if there's a fleet of, let's say, 10, 20,000 cars, then it becomes interesting for us to go and set up a business there. And what we then normally do is also play an active role in defining the lease product, because you have to talk to the government, you need to talk to the tax authorities to explain them how the product works. And then they can also design the law around this product, because we are one of the first that is coming to offer this product. The business is of course key, but at the end, what you remember are all the special moments that we had together and that we were celebrating what we've done. In Mexico, especially, I have a lot of very, very warm memories, because we had so many different events and so many moments that we did things together. And, you know, everyone is so close to each other there, even with a company of 80 people. It feels still like a family. The roof went off, drinking tequila, indeed, a mariachi, and then celebrate the king and the queen of the party by looking at who was dressed up best.
How did our experience in financial services make LeasePlan a global success?
We set up an in-house bank for LeasePlan to basically fund the countries on the group strength rather than on their local strength. The stronger countries like the Netherlands and Belgium, they had no problem with funding. They could attract funding in the local markets. But of course, immature companies or growing companies, probably not yet profitable, they paid a lot for their funding. And that's why we set up the in-house bank. Secondly, attracting funding took a lot of management time. As we were owned by a bank, this wasn't necessary because we could fund the countries from the center.
Weren't we also the first in the industry to venture into a new business area?
Insurance is quite an important part of the leasing cost. We needed to get more sophisticated at that. It felt like we had the size to be an insurance company ourselves. To me, it was a no-brainer, but obviously it wasn't done in the market. We were the first to do this. and there was no blueprint. And also the reinsurers were hesitant. They said, what, a leasing company starting an insurance company? A few years later, they came back to us and said, when can we lead your syndicate?
In 1992, Hugo Levesque founded LeasePlan International. And in 1999, he became CEO, taking over from Anton Goudsmit.
He was definitely the engine of growth, and I would say the visionary, and seeing the opportunity and seeing where the market was going.
He could very much motivate people. He was a master in giving speeches.
He was a very strong pusher for making this business a global business. So around the millennium, there were a lot of new companies being set up, making it from an even European to a global company, and to keep expansion high on the agenda.
In 2006, Vahid Demi takes over as CEO.
Vahid was somebody who really let you do your thing. And we know which direction we needed to go, and he just had confidence in the fact that we were going in that direction in the right way.
A holistic leader. For Vahid, the people were the most important thing within the company.
Extremely supportive in the further growth of International.
And both Hugo and Vahid were both very approachable.
It was under Vahid that LeasePlan began its journey to become a socially responsible company.
Back in 2006, we developed a LeasePlan Child Plan. And with LeasePlan Child Plan, we decided we would help underprivileged children in the third world countries and give them a second chance in life, basically. It started with an intrinsic motivation that we really wanted to do good in the world. That was a way for us also to show what kind of company we were. But the co-effect was that it bound us even further together. We had many staff gatherings all over the world, basically, within LeasePlan, to raise funds. And people were so motivated to do their utmost to get as much money as possible and to provide more help. We worked together with Net4Kids. We built a home for 30 girls and we built a home for 30 boys. And we built an academic building for all of them. And it was followed by a large project in India where we built a school for 600 children.
To establish our LeasePlan culture in all countries, the International Directors Meeting was set up.
The International Directors Meeting we had once a year. We came together with the management teams of all the countries. It was a mix of talking business, and next to that we had a very nice part of social team building and just hanging out together and having fun together.
Yeah, there was also an active social program to ensure that directors not just sat in meetings, but that they learned to know each other much better. This surely had an effect that beyond such director meetings, there was much more contact between the various directors. They were extremely valuable. It created a level of trust and understanding which, like just with formal sit-down meetings, you never would have.
What is your most remarkable international experience?
The organization had organized carts and horses, real horses, for a city tour. What do horses do? They stand still, they do what they have to do, and go on. But the police of Copenhagen had said, you're supposed to clean up that. So what did all the managers do? They all had buckets and a big sweeper, swept up the horse dung and threw it in the back of their cars. Oh! Those cars would stink for months.
It seems like we've successfully conquered most of the world by now. What's next?
In Europe, there are 300 million cars on the road at the moment. So if those 300 million cars all go EV, and even half of that would say, I don't want to own it, but I want to lease the car, then you have another 150 million lease cars on the market in the next 10, 15 years.
More on that in the next episode. See you there.